Hi, my name is Cam Kelly. I'm the AmeriCorps Construction Assistant here with Habitat for Humanity on site for Day 3 of Women's Build 2K16. Today I'm going to show you about wall layout, building and standing walls, and the sheathing of the walls themselves. First step in wall layout is cutting top and bottom plates for the walls. We do this by reading the floor plans of the house and cutting the walls to length, cutting the top and bottom plate, nailing them together, and then putting them up on the decking so that they can be laid out. We will cut a top and bottom plate for every wall in the house. Once all the top and bottom plates are made and laid where they need to be on the decking, we will mark with bright orange paint where each wall lays so that they do not get mixed up in the building process. Each top and bottom plate will rest between two chalk lines that were snapped during the wall layout and will be used when we stand the walls. Once the walls have been laid out, we will separate the top and bottom plate and move components up onto the decking to put the walls together. There are several different components that we use when framing a wall. A stud is a 2x4 or 2x6 that is pre-cut to 92 5/8 inches long and will make up a good portion of the wall. A king jack is a pre-cut stud nailed to a stud that is cut to 80 15/16 and is used for windows and doors. A kitchen stud is a stud notched in 3 different places to fit a 1x4 that the cabinets can lay into. It is very important when placing the kitchen studs that they are all faced the right direction so that the 1x4s can be attached to them. The takeoff is 3 pre-cut studs nailed together to form a U shape to create a surface for one wall to nail into another one. The California corner is 2 pre-cut studs nailed together to form a 90-degree angle and are used at the corners of the house as a surface for the connecting walls to screw into. A stud block stud is used wherever there is a protruding corner in an interior room. A cripple is a 2x4 cut to size and is used for support under a window or above a door. A door frame will consist of 2 king jacks with an exterior door header in between. A window frame will consist of 2 king jacks, a window header in between them, 2 cripples on each side, and a single sill plate across it. When reading the wall layout, it is important to know the difference between all the different wall components. In wall layout, a stud will be marked with an X, a king jack will be marked with a KJ, a stud block stud will be marked with an SES, a takeoff will be marked with a TO, a California corner will be marked with a C/C, a kitchen stud will be marked with an NS, and a cripple will be marked with a C. When framing the wall, the top and bottom plate will be labeled and then separated, and the wall components will fill the space between them. Each wall component will be secured with 2 16-penny nails through each end of the nail. Takeoffs on the exterior walls of the house will be filled with 2-inch blue board cut to size for insulation purposes. When building the walls, it is very important that the wall components are flush with the top and bottom plate of the walls. The first thing to do when standing a wall is to run a bead of subfloor adhesive where the wall is going to stand. When standing the wall, it is important to have enough people to lift the wall itself. So if you're doing a long side of the house, it will require a lot of people to first lift up to their waist, and then once everyone is there, to lift above their head and to hold the wall in place. Once the wall is stood, it will have to be held into place while 2 16-penny nails are driven between each stud at the base of the wall and while it is plumbed and braced. Use a sledgehammer once the wall is stood, if necessary, to move it into place. Once one wall is raised and secured, all of the connecting walls can be raised as well. Like the first wall, these will be secured with two 16-penny nails through each stud, and they will also be secured to the other walls with 3-inch screws after they are plumbed. Only the exterior walls have glue underneath, the interior walls do not. It is smart to start with the exterior wall first, that way all other walls can feed off of it across the house. If the walls adjacent to the exterior wall are not being stood for quite some time, it is smart to brace the exterior wall about every 10 feet to hold it into place. Once all the walls have been stood, we will begin sheathing for strength and insulation purposes along the exterior walls of the house. We will begin sheathing by using 7/16 OSB, which will span from the top of the subfloor to the top plate of the wall. We will place full sheets of OSB on every corner of the house, as well as over the seams where two walls meet. OSB sheets cannot fall more than 20 feet apart per code. In some instances, we will put OSB on an entire wall of a house, especially if there are too many doors and windows, since there are not as many studs to support the wall itself. When placing the OSB, it is very important that it falls halfway between the stud on each side of the OSB so that the blue board next to it has something to nail to. Each sheet of OSB will be nailed with 8 penny nails, every 8 inches in the field of the OSB and every 6 inches on the edge. Each sheet of OSB will be covered with 1/2-inch blue board to insulate the house. This blue board will be secured with 1.5-inch cap nails. In between each sheet of OSB, we will put more blue board. This time it will be 1 inch, so it's still flush with the 1/2-inch OSB and the 1/2-inch blue board that we put on the corners. This 1-inch blue board will also be secured with 1.5 inch cap. Once all the OSB and blue board is set, we will use a sawzall to cut out the windows and doors. When nailing in the blue board with cap nails, it is important that you hit a stud, as the siding crew later will use that as a reference point when nailing in the siding. The final step in the sheathing process is to put a house wrap weather barrier around the entire exterior of the house. The tighter the house wrap is, the easier all the siding prep and the siding itself will be. This house wrap will also be secured with 1.5 inch cap.